So here we go, boys. Dev server has been updated, so let's talk a little bit about it. I couldn't find too many things. It was kind of a small update today, okay? No hidden vehicles for now or anything that I can find, but let's keep an eye out, of course, for the data mines and everything. And yeah, let's show what I could find, because there isn't a lot. I spent like 1 hour or more or less, right, trying to find stuff, and there wasn't too many things. We start off with the amount of countermeasures. You can see that in the actual, so you can know it's work in progress because of this, but the Sufa right now, it does have the same amount that it had yesterday, as you see. But if you actually go to the hangar, there's something kind of interesting. It actually has a lot more, so 150. So, and then the 45 large, right? I don't know why when I go to the flight, like the test flight, it doesn't carry that much for some reason. You know, look at this. I mean, it's just a normal amount here. We have 90 and then the 45, right? But it is saying that it's 150. So very much work in progress still. But apparently it is going to have almost 200 flares and chaff, right? Which is helping this aircraft. And another thing is that obviously this flight model is incredibly amazing. It's better than the F-16C right now. Let's wait and see if they change anything. But I don't think they will, to be honest. But yeah, let's wait and see. And of course, I will probably do a dogfight video just to show to you guys what this thing is capable of. For sure, for now, we don't know yet, the best F-16 in the game. For sure. Okay? So, especially because, I mean, it has the MU-20 C5s, right? But still. And just some boring stuff first, guys, just because I know you guys are going to ask this. The X-4 is still an IR missile, so it's not ready yet. So, like I said, it's a very small update today. The radar of the SAMP-T is still not able to detect anything beyond 20 kilometers for some reason. So, yeah, I tested in some matches, and apparently just cannot do that. So, for now, I mean, it is what it is. The Mi-35 here for the Indonesian actually has now the proper naming with the little like roundel that they have. So pretty cool. I mean, probably we will see more Indonesian vehicles in the Japanese tech tree, I would assume. So it comes from these roundel that they use throughout their forces, right? Then let's talk about what I think is one of the major changes over here. The armor of the OPLOT, actually is updated. I don't know if it's ready. A lot of people are still complaining about it, that it's not fully ready, but, so I don't know, right? But it is, at least, it got an update, okay? So, as you can see, the ERA is here, the duplet ERA, right? It has basically 600 millimeters of chemical, 200 against kinetic on these side panels, because basically it has like 3 packages of them, which is pretty insane, if you ask me. And then, of course, here it has only 2 on the front here. So it has a little bit less protection, 310 chemical, 140 kinetic. And then here we have 3, but it's, you know, kind of angled. So it's still basically the same, okay? So yeah, the ERA is finally implemented. We have the composites over here that I don't know if they are ready. That's one of the things that I think people are kind of complaining about. It doesn't look 100% ready. And then even if you see over here, I don't know. I have a feeling that it's not fully ready yet. The model, it's not fully ready for sure. So maybe the armor is not ready yet. Because, why am I saying this? Because if we go to the protection analysis, and let's just bring a Russian, I mean, let's bring an American one actually. Just because this is a T-series of tank. So let's bring the 289 over here, the normal 289 first. And you will see that it still has a little bit, I mean, we can do the protection map. Still has a lot of weak spots for some reason on the side here, which is pretty funny. Just because it doesn't have the ERA, right? So basically every single place that it doesn't have the ERA, it will basically penetrate the target with the normal 829, right? Which is okay, I guess. I mean, the manlet over here, of course, this part over here, it's understandable. But I was expecting a little bit more. At least on the turrets, cheeks and stuff, it can take some punches. If we go to the 8982, right, a little bit better, it penetrates a little bit more, you know, on the top here and stuff. So, to be honest, I mean, kind of complicated. I mean, this is 500, but it's, I mean, the normal shots, it's still possible. I mean, look at this. At 1,000, you know, 1,000 meters, it still can penetrate right on the middle of the upper glacis, right? On the third cheek, yeah, it's pretty strong. But everything else here, it's pretty weak. So I don't know if it's ready yet. Maybe it's supposed to be like this because it's kind of a T-series of tanks, so I guess, right? But I don't know. I have a feeling that this part over here would be a little bit better. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just insane. I don't know. But of course, we can try to fire a hit, of course, here, and it will not get killed, obviously, right? If we are talking about the sides over here, the penetration, I mean, if it's angled like this, the ERA is actually pretty good against some of these rounds, okay? As you can see. So, but if you get the better rounds, he can still penetrate very easily, even if he has the ERA, okay? So, yeah, not the greatest thing ever. Of course, these side shots, it's kind of expected. The front shots, of course, as well. I guess the turret is pretty good, you know, overall, for odd shots and stuff. But let's be honest. I mean, if you fire like in the middle here, you're gonna kill the tank, basically, right? Yeah, look at this. You kill the tank, right? So, yeah, it's kind of expected because, of course, we have the same you know, weak spots of a normal T-series of tanks, right? But at the same time, they did say it was going to be, you know, an amazing armor. So, I don't know. People are still, you know, debating if this is the correct armor or not. I'm not gonna get too much into it because I don't know much about, but if it's supposed to be better or worse, right? But at least now he has the armor, right? Let's see if we can do something with this HE. No. Let's see a Russian HE. This is something that I honestly wanted to show. Yeah, so kill the tank, right? So honestly, the armor doesn't really matter. Look at the size of this target for an HE round. If you put an HE round over here, you can kill the tank. I mean, it didn't there, but it just did before, so let's wait. Yeah, you can kill the tank if you aim correctly. Maybe on top of it. Yeah, you gotta shoot it like kind of in the base here, maybe, to actually do anything. Yeah. Insta-kill of the OPLOT. So, yeah, the armor of the OPLOT is better, but not what some people expected, okay? So that's it. Remember one thing that BVD said over here is that we do have kind of an armor like place over here that if it is not using HE or anything like that, it will not detonate the tank. So it's kind of a blowout panel kind of situation over here, but it's a little bit different. So interesting, right? And overall, yeah, this is the tank, guys. I mean, let's wait and see. The turrets are very strong, but with this armor here, I don't know, like, I was expecting a little bit more of the composites, to be honest, but I don't know why I was, right? It makes sense that it's like this, right? I mean, let's compare to a T80. So you can see that it's a little bit better on the T80, so I would assume that it's not fully ready yet, okay, the armor. It's gonna be a little bit better. Not by much, but it will probably suffice to make the upper glacis a little bit better, I would assume, right? But yeah. So another, like two things to wrap it up kind of the video. One of them is, I don't know if this was something that it was yesterday or not, but it feels like I'm able to control some of the stuff in the buck a little bit better. So if I turn it off the radar, for example here, and I go to the launcher again, you will notice, of course, that is the radar is working there, right? I can fire a missile, and it will track and go to the target. So I'm not using the proper like search radar. I'm using the ground radar, okay? The launcher radar, right? One problem that I still believe it's a problem, if I just lose the target that I was shooting, you will notice that the radar just turned itself off and I cannot turn it on, which is kind of insane if you ask me. One thing that I have to think is that it's work in progress, but you can see down there, you have a button. Now, it was already yesterday, but I couldn't make it to work. Basically, autonomous mode and group sensors mode. So what I think this is it. It's basically a button to control the proper radar of the launcher or use the other radar. So what I mean about that is that if I turn it on this radar over here, and I'm using the like you know, as you see, this radar, right? But if I click again, group sensor, it's using the search radar. If I click again, it would use the normal, like this normal radar over here. Okay, so I think that's kind of how it's gonna work. Still, if you kill the target, if there isn't anything there for you to shoot, it's gonna get, like, the radar just turn itself off. And by the way, they added, finally for the bug, the ability for you to track the missiles that you are firing, which helps a lot. I think in the first days, I thought we had something like this, but then we didn't anymore, so kind of weird. But as you see, if I have something to detect there, you know, the missile will still go to the target. You can still track it. It will tell where the missile is. Everything is good. You can even use this if you want to. But if the targets disappear, it goes to the, you know, kind of a phase of trying to look out for targets, and then just it turns itself off. And the only way to kind of use a radar again is changing to the group sensor, right? And then aiming to a target where there is kind of a target there and click the button to lock. So it's kind of weird, but it's working a little bit better than what it was before, okay? Another thing is that obviously still, if I try to use the IRST, I cannot fire the missile, okay? So even though, yeah, we do have an IRST over here, I cannot fire the missile. I need to get a radar lock, or a radar TWS soft lock, if you will, to actually be able to fire. So you can use properly the radar of the Telar, but it's kind of finicky. It's a little bit weird right now, okay? So I expect this thing to be fixed once the patch rolls out. So another thing that I noticed is that I can get some locks in a further distance than 11.5 kilometer with the AGM 179, but something very weird is happening. So before, I was managing only 11.5, more or less, on ground targets, if you remember, in the first day of the dev server, right? And now I can get to like 12, for example, up to like 15, 16. And as you see, it is locking, but without the proper marker, right? And the funny part is that when I launch these missiles, normally they are not tracking the target. So it's kind of weird. That cross kind of tells me that it's not properly locking the target. And it's trying to, it's flying by IOG probably or something like that. But at the same time, it is a little bit weird that the lock happens on the vehicle itself, right? So you think that you are locking the target itself, but you are not. So it's kind of weird. But let's see if it tracks. Sometimes it's just not tracking. It just overshoots. Let's see if we now can track. Like, see, it's not really tracking, right? Is it? No, I think this is gonna hit. So on the very least, you can fire from a further distance than what you did before. But let's try to do this again. Hold up. Sometimes it just completely overshoots. I just tested this and it's not locking the target. See? You are using basically IOG to actually launch. And then, oh, nice. I understand now. This is interesting. So this is what I think the KH-38 should be doing, right? Because you can just lock a place, and by IOG, it will go to that place. But sometimes it cannot get a lock. So you can fire from further away, but of course it will not lock the target. It will lock the ground, and it will try to get there. So if you really want to get like a proper kill, you need to go in a below that range, right? But you are able to get these locks. Sometimes before I couldn't get these locks. This is the change that I'm feeling here. The first day of the dev server, I don't know if they changed yesterday or anything, but the missile was just not locking, right? It wouldn't let me fire the missile above like 11.5 kilometers. And as you can see now, you can. The only problem is that if the target moves around, it's gonna, not get the kill. Sometimes these missiles were just overshooting. So I don't know what is happening now. For some reason, now that I'm testing with you guys, every single missile is hitting. But you get the point. It's a little bit weird, but it works. Okay? And basically, this is it, guys. I tried to find anything else, but let's be honest, there isn't. There are probably a couple of things. Like, for example, the Spice 250s, right? They got changed. They now you can carry 4 of them. It was something that in the first dev server you couldn't. I don't know if they added this yesterday, but now at least it is working, right? So there are multiple things like this that are working a lot better, right? Which makes sense. But to be honest, it was kind of a small update, and there wasn't too many things to test it out. And it's kind of weird, right? Because look at this, the KH-38 in that same way as the AGM-179 is supposed to be able to lock onto a target that is further away like this, right? But it can't. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, that's the difference in the AGM-179 that I noticed, right? But basically this is it, guys. And like I said, there are minor things here and there, but generally this is it. So I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye guys, see ya.